Hello everyone, my name is Rishikesh Gajala. Today I'll be presenting our work on generalizations of length-limited Huffman coding for hierarchical memory settings. This is joint work with Shashwat Banchor, Yogesh Sabarwal, and Sandeep Singh. First, I'll explain you the problem. In Huffman coding, one can find prefix codes which are optimal in terms of code length. This can be done using a simple linear time algorithm. I'll recap it for you in case you don't remember. Consider the characters A, B, C, D, E, F, and let's say they have the frequencies 34, 70, 11, so on. In Huffman coding, you first pick the characters with least two frequencies, E and F. You merge them and form a new character of frequency 2. Then again, among 34, 17, 11, 3, and 2, you pick the least two frequencies, that is 3 and 2, and you repeat this and construct the following tree. Once you have the tree, each left traversal corresponds to a 0 and right traversal corresponds to 1. This is arbitrary. You can do it anyway. Once we fix that, we can give code words to each of these characters. Let's say C. C takes 1, 1, and 0. So the code word of C is 110. So if you take the string ACEA, it will be encoded as A with 0, C with 110, E with 410, and so on. Now, but how do you decode it? That is, given this bit string, how do you recover the character or alphabet string here? So for that, we can do a simple tree traversal. Start with this bit string. First, take a 0 here. You see an A. So you decode it with A. And you see a 110. It's 1, 1, and 0. So you know it's a C, and so on. So it's easy to see that to decode in this fashion using a tree traversal, it takes the number of bits in the bit string much time, which is expensive. The code length of the tree is nothing but frequency times the code word length for each character summed over everything. So let's take D, the frequency is 3, and the code word's length is 1, 2, 3, 4. So this contribution is 12, 3 into 4. You repeat this over all characters and sum them up. You get the code length. Now, as we saw earlier, the decode time was a little too much in Huffman coding. So for that, there is a new and popular, not new, there is a variant of Huffman coding, which is very well studied and also called as length-limited Huffman coding. In this, one is interested in finding the prefix codes. Prefix codes are the codes in which one character doesn't appear as a prefix of the earlier code. Now you want prefix codes which have bounded code word length. Earlier, the code word length was going as high as 5. You want a bounded code word length. And among all such prefix trees, you need the optimal code length. So consider the same example, A, B, C, D, E, F. The frequencies are 34, 7, 11, 7. You can compute that this optimal tree is this tree, and the code words are, again, as I said before, 0, 0, 0, 1. Let's say C, 0, 1, 1, 0, and 0. So C will be 1, 0, 0. Now the code length of this tree is again frequency times code word length, that summed over all terms. It's 150. And for this setup, we are using a length limit of 3. That's why earlier it was 5. Now all the characters have code word length less than or equal to 3. It's easy to see that this is nothing but the depth. You're restricting the depth to be at most 3. Now, given the string ACE, you can just plug in these code words and you can get this encoded string. But the nice part here is, given the string, instead of traversing the tree, you can look up 3 bits at a time. So let's say I have this string. I'll look 0, 0, 1 at a time. I know that 0, 0, 1 must correspond to A because it's 0, 0. And it's using only 2 bits. Then I say that I'm using only 2 bits and I move my pointer here. Then look up for 1, 0, 0. I know that 1, 0, 0 is nothing but C because I can do a direct lookup in 1 time. And that way you can decode the entire string. Now, since we are doing 3 bits at a time, and in each lookup, we are decoding at least one character. So the time we take or number of RAM lookups, considering this entire thing to be in the RAM, this entire lookup table or the lookup, yeah, we take number of characters in this alphabet string much time. Earlier it was number of bits in this bit string. But it's not always possible to accommodate all these characters in the RAM. For this, we need a model in which you can do lookups multiple times within the same hierarchy, and it allows multiple hierarchies too. Now we generalize this problem. So consider the characters A, B, C, D, E, F, and code word to be 0, 1, 0, or so on. Now we'll give two lookup tables, and we call this lookup tables to be of blocking scheme 3, 1 and 2, q. So the first memory has size 2 power 3, that is here 3, and the second memory has size 2 power 2, that's a lookup table here. And this is the main memory, so the access cost is 1, and the second memory has access cost q. So it's q something greater than 1. Now, whenever we want to decode something which is less than 3 bits, we can directly look them up and find out the character. But let's say if you want to look up something like F, how do you do it? We can first look up the three characters. Say 3, 1, you see 1, 1, 1. And then it could be D, E, or F. You can't say that. So we say that 3 ones correspond to table 2. You go to table 2. Then you look up again for 1, 1, and you figure out it's F. Now, all the characters which appear within this lookup table, that is the characters having code word length less than 3, they take a single lookup. And all the characters which are in the lookup table 2, that is DEF, they take 2 lookups. So their access cost is 1 plus Q. So within this blocking scheme, let's see the decode time of Huffman codes and the length limited Huffman codes. In the Huffman codes, everything which has code word length at most 3, 34, 17, 11, they take unit time, and 311 takes 1 plus Q time because of this blocking scheme. Therefore, the decode time is 67 plus 5Q. And the code length is 123 as we saw earlier. Now in length limited Huffman coding, all the characters are within code length 3. So everything will be done in the first lookup. So the decode time is 67, but the code length is 150. So there is a huge trade-off between code length and decode time happening. And we don't know which trees are optimal and everything in this too. So now we'll look at a problem in which we are given a bound for the decode time and we want the best tree possible. Let's say I say that look at all trees having decode time less than 67 plus 3Q and give me the best possible tree in terms of code length. So that's, I'm formalizing it here. You're given a blocking scheme and a parameter delta, which is the maximum code length you are allowing. Among all such prefix trees, find the tree having the minimum code length. For this problem, we give a dynamic program which runs in order n power 2 plus m time. Here m is the number of block levels. Earlier, we had only 2 lookups happening, 3, 1 and then 2, q. But there could be multiple levels of lookups happening. Let's say there are m such lookups. Then the running time is n power 2 plus. The hierarchies are less than the number of block levels. Now, since m can be large, we give a more faster algorithm which runs in order n square by epsilon, but this is a p-task. That is, we give this algorithm satisfies the penalty constraint, but it has code length 1 plus epsilon times the optimal possible. Now, we earlier saw that when you're considering the instance of blocking scheme 3, 1 and 2, q, all this was happening just as a function of level. That is, all the characters in level 1, 2, 3 had access cost 1. All the characters in level 4, 5 had access cost 1 plus then q. Now, What if instead of dealing with an entire blocking scheme, we remove this and give a mathematical abstraction called penalty function, which is dependent only on the levels and is increasing and is in non-decreasing function. So earlier decode time was frequency times the access cost of that character, and access cost of that character is dependent only on the levels. Now we generalize this to frequency times the penalty function of the depth of that character. Similarly, code length can also be generalized in terms of an objective function because code length is also dependent only on the depth of the character. Now, given the penalty function and an objective function, which are monotonically non-decreasing, and we are also given a penalty bound. Now, earlier we were minimizing the code length. Since we generalized code length with an objective function, now this is frequency times the objective function value for this character summed over all these characters. And the penalty is nothing but frequency times the penalty of dt of c. That is, earlier this was frequency times access cost. Earlier this was bounded by bound and decode time delta. Now it's a penalty bound. This is nothing but the Kraus inequality, which guarantees that whatever tree you get is a prefix tree. That is, you can forget about this entire setup. These frequencies are given to you, and you have these functions p and f. You just need to pick values of dt, integral values, which satisfies all these constraints. Then we'll be done with our problem. For this problem, we have a solution which runs in time, order n cube p, where n is the number of characters and p is the penalty bound. The penalty bound is an input parameter, so this is not a polynomial time algorithm. This is a pseudo polynomial time algorithm. So we also give a p task for this. This runs in time order n power 4 by epsilon. Okay, the LLHC was captured with the penalty function in the following way. Every character which is at a depth less than d has some unit access cost, and all the characters which are at a level greater than d have infinite cost. So you're restricting none of them to not be at a level greater than d. This seems a little harsh. So we look at a more general problem and give a fast solution for that. So consider the generalization where the unit cost remains same, that is z units, when the depth is less than or equal to d. And whenever it is more than d, you just do a tree traversal, or you make this, you give a q penalty per level. That is, if you're at level capital D plus 2, your access cost is z plus 2q. For this problem, where the penalty function is defined by zq and d and capital D, and you have a penalty bound, then we find the prefix tree with minimum code length. The solution we have for this problem runs in order nd time. Note that earlier it was dependent on the penalty bound, and now it is not. And when the capital D, that is the value where penalty breaks, is smaller of log n, the runtime can be bounded by order n plus d times 2 per d. We'll first do some preliminaries. Okay, consider the characters to be P1, P2, P3, P4, P5, P6, and P7. And L be the levels labeled from top to bottom. Now, IL is nothing but the number of internal nodes at or below level labeled L. So consider the level 3. There are 3 internal nodes, 1, 2, 3, which are at or below this thing. So IL is the number of internal nodes below. 2IL minus IL plus 1 is nothing but the number of characters below the level labeled L. So you can compute these using 2IL values. And now if you pick level 3, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's easy to prove it. Now, given these 2IL minus IL plus 1 values to be less than n, that is, the number of characters at each level is less than n, which is the total number of characters, and an increasing sequence of I0 values for which this property is satisfied, we can construct a prefix tree of height h. Now, S is a prefix sum. which we define in the following way. Let P1, P2, P3, P4, P6, P7 are the characters as we discussed earlier. It can be proved using an exchange argument that the characters appearing low at greater depths have lesser frequencies. That is, let's assume it's not, then we can P1, let's assume P1 is greater than P6 in terms of frequency. You can just switch them and get a contradiction. Now we define prefix term to be, let's say, take S5. S5 is nothing but P1 plus P2 plus P3 plus P4 plus P5. Now the code length of the tree can be written in terms of sum of prefix sums. That's because P1 is added its depth many times. And if you do the prefix sums of these, 2il minus il, S2 plus S5, so on, P1 appears in all of these. And it's added the level many times. So consider P5. P5 is not added in S2, but it's added in S5 and everything up. So this way we can write the code length in terms of prefix sums. Now using this, there is a nice, we know there is an order and time for all algorithm for Huffman DP, but this algorithm was proposed for a parallel version. And this algorithm dynamic program works in the following way. H of I is the forest with I internal nodes. And let's say consider 3 internal nodes. Now we look at all the forests which are like one level below it. If you're considering here at level 3, you go to level 4 and consider all possible forests at level 3 with j less than I, and it should be less than 2i minus j should be less than n2. And now we know that hi minus hj should be s2i minus j because that's the contribution coming from here. That is S5. Since we know this happens for some j, we'll just iterate it over all j's and find the minimum. This DP gives the solution to the Huffman tree problem because when there are n minus 1 internal nodes and n leaves, this should be a tree. This forest should be a tree, and hence it should be a Huffman tree. So LLHC can be solved in the similar fashion. Instead of h of I, we can make this DP to be h of I comma l and h of j comma l plus 1. And the runtime of that algorithm would be n squared d. Golin and Zhang used Mon's property and gave an order nd algorithm for this, so that they shaved off an order n factor. Now, using these ideas, we'll give a solution for general LHC. So as said earlier, f and p are the objective function and penalty function. And we define new functions f hat of I to be in the following way. At each level, you just subtract it from fi minus 1. So f hat of I to be fi minus 1. And similarly, we define p hat of I. Now earlier we could write code length as sum of prefix sums. Now this is not directly prefix sums, but at each level, it's being changed by a factor of f hat. So now the objective value can be written as sum of the prefix terms multiplied by this f hat. Now we'll give a similar DP like earlier, but the problem we have in general LHC is that we want the final tree to be within some penalty bound. For this, we introduce this new parameter in the DP. So first, I is number of internal nodes at or below level, like earlier. P is the penalty bound remaining after adjustments due to all accesses made at level greater than L. So let's say P dash is at level L plus 1. When you're moving to level L, the penalty is being affected by P hat of L plus 1 and S2 minus J. So you're adjusting the penalty bound accordingly. And this entire thing is nothing but the objective value. And this is again changing by f hat times S2 minus J. So this DP works, and this runtime is n square h times the penalty bound. N is the number of characters, h is the maximum height. And maximum height can be at most n, that can be proved. So this runtime is n cubed times the penalty bound. Since P may not be polynomial, this is again a pseudo polynomial time algorithm, and so we give a P task for this now. So in this P task, we are giving a tree which has penalty at most P, and the objective value is at most 1 plus epsilon times outer. The previous algorithm was symmetric in terms of code length and decode time, or objective function and penalty function. So you can just switch the parameters and you can get a order n cube C algorithm where C is the objective function bound. Now using this, we now use rounding over the top of the earlier algorithm, and we bound all the values of C to be some multiples of lambda. Then we can adjust the things in the DP accordingly. And after adjustments, we'll be using a factor of lambda at each level. Now in the DP, let's say you're at the forest at level L. If you just use this fact that only additive lambda factor is lost, we can prove that since the maximum level is L, the loss at level L is at most h minus 1 times lambda. And since you're looking at level 0, this is at most h lambda, and therefore you can get the objective value to be at most 1 plus epsilon times C. And the penalty is less than P dual, which is less than the penalty bound. Now substituting C to be the opt value, we get a p-task for general LHC problem. The line complexity of this algorithm is n square h square by epsilon. Now we'll look at C-opt problem. Note that C-opt was nothing but a special case of general LHC. So you can just directly plug in the general solution and get an order n square h square by epsilon algorithm. But this is too high for a practical problem. So we give a faster algorithm for this. And the key idea is bounding h first. We show that in the optimal tree, h is at most 2m times 1 by lambda plus log n. 2m is here as the number of block levels from what we discussed earlier. Delta is a parameter of our choice, which gives some error. And n is again the number of characters. So the key idea is to use the fact that difference in depth of 2 consecutive characters in the optimal tree is not more than log n. If it's more than log n, you can just make some changes and get a new tree in which the decode time is improved, but the code length is affected only by a small amount, which depends on delta. So using this, since we bounded h, we just plug in the h value in the p-task for general LHC we had, and we get an order n square by epsilon into log term algorithm. Now we'll go to the open problems. Note that we can't use this technique for general LHC because this is dependent on number of block levels, which we are assuming to be constant. In general LHC, we can't because effectively it's a new block level after each level. And we use Monge property in softer LHCs to speed up the algorithms, and it's not possible to use it in D-opt and C-opt. Open problems is proving NP hardness for general LHC. We already gave a p-task, so we expect it to be NP hard, but we don't have a proof. We also want to study the empirical performance of our algorithms with real-world data sets on practical systems with hierarchical memory.